written by Fareed Zakaria from CNN. The story of the US dollar is one of remarkable dominance and influence. Over the decades, it has become more than just a currency. It's a symbol of economic power and stability. The US dollar reigns supreme in the global financial system. Its influence stretches far and wide, touching every corner of the world. From bustling markets in Asia to the financial hubs of Europe, the dollar is omnipresent. It is the world's reserve currency, a status that grants it unparalleled importance. Central banks around the globe hold vast reserves of US dollars, ensuring its liquidity and stability. This means most central banks hold their reserves in US dollars. This practice not only stabilizes their own currencies, but also reinforces the dollar's dominance. It is the primary currency for international trade. Whether it's commodities, electronics, or services, transactions are often conducted in dollars, simplifying and securing global trade. Oil, for example, is priced in dollars. This petrodollar system ties the energy markets to the US currency, further entrenching its global role. The dollar's dominance gives the US significant power. It can borrow cheaply as investors around the world seek the safety of US debt. This financial leverage allows the US to maintain its economic and military might. It can impose sanctions more easily. The ability to restrict access to the dollar-based financial system is a powerful tool in international diplomacy and economic policy. This system has been in place since the end of World War II. The Bretton Woods Agreement established the dollar as the backbone of the global financial system, reflecting the US's economic dominance at the time. The US economy was the strongest, emerging from the war with its industrial base intact and its financial system robust. This strength underpinned the dollar's global role. The dollar was pegged to gold, providing a stable anchor for the global economy. This gold standard ensured that the dollar was as good as gold, literally. This system, however, began to change in the 1970s. Economic pressures and changing global dynamics led to a shift away from the gold standard. The US abandoned the gold standard, moving to a system of floating exchange rates. This allowed the dollar to fluctuate based on market forces. The dollar became a floating currency, its value determined by the global market. Despite this shift, the dollar's dominance continued, supported by the strength of the US economy. Despite these changes, the dollar's dominance continued. It remained the preferred currency for international transactions and reserves. The US remained the world's largest economy, its financial markets the most liquid, and its institutions the most trusted. This economic clout reinforced the dollar's global position. The dollar was stable and liquid, qualities that made it attractive to investors and central banks alike. Its reliability was a cornerstone of the global financial system. This stability is now being questioned. Economic shifts, geopolitical tensions, and the rise of other currencies are challenging the dollar's supremacy. A new era may be dawning. As the global economy evolves, the future of the dollar's reign is uncertain. Will it maintain its dominance, or will we see a shift to a more multipolar currency system? The dollar's dominance is being challenged. This phenomenon is known as de-dollarization. De-dollarization means countries are actively reducing their reliance on the US dollar for international trade and financial transactions. Instead of using the dollar, they are opting for other currencies, diversifying their reserves and seeking alternatives. There are several compelling reasons for this significant shift in the global financial landscape. First and foremost, the United States has been increasingly using economic sanctions as a tool of foreign policy. These sanctions often target countries like Russia and Iran, severely impacting their economies. As a result, other nations are increasingly concerned that they could be the next targets of such measures. To mitigate this risk, they are taking proactive steps to reduce their vulnerability by diversifying their currency reserves. Secondly, the rise of China as a global economic powerhouse is a major factor driving de-dollarization. China, now the world's second-largest economy, is increasingly asserting its influence on the global stage. The Chinese government is actively promoting the use of its own currency, the yuan, in international trade and finance. Thirdly, the advent of new financial technologies is reshaping the global monetary system. Innovations such as digital currencies and blockchain technology are providing new avenues for financial transactions. These technologies offer faster, more efficient and cheaper cross-border transactions, reducing the need for a dominant currency. By leveraging these technologies, countries can bypass traditional financial systems that are heavily reliant on the US dollar. These factors are converging to create a perfect storm, challenging the long-standing dominance of the US dollar. The world is gradually moving towards a multipolar currency system where no single currency holds absolute dominance. This shift will have significant implications for global trade, finance, and economic stability, affecting everyone from policymakers to everyday consumers. The shift to a multipolar currency world is already underway. Countries are diversifying their reserves. They are holding more euros, yuan, and gold. They are also signing currency swap agreements. These agreements allow them to trade directly in their own currencies. This shift has the potential to reduce the dollar's dominance. It could lead to a more balanced global financial system. However, it also creates uncertainty. The dollar has been a stabilizing force for decades. Its decline could lead to volatility in currency markets. The transition to a multipolar system will be gradual. The dollar will remain a major currency for the foreseeable future, but its influence will diminish. Countries need to adapt to this new reality. Vietnam is at a crossroads. The nation stands on the brink of significant economic transformation, driven by both internal ambitions and external pressures. As the world shifts towards a multipolar economic landscape, Vietnam must navigate these changes with strategic foresight. As a highly trade-dependent nation, it is heavily exposed to fluctuations in the US dollar. The global dominance of the dollar means that any changes in its value can have profound impacts on Vietnam's economy, affecting everything from import costs to export competitiveness. De-dollarization presents both opportunities and challenges for Vietnam. On one hand, moving away from the dollar can provide more stability and control over its economic policies. On the other hand, it requires careful planning and execution to avoid potential pitfalls. One potential benefit is reduced transaction costs. Currently, Vietnamese businesses often incur significant fees when converting currencies for international trade. These costs can add up, impacting the bottom line of companies and the overall economy. Vietnamese businesses often pay fees for currency conversions. By adopting alternative currencies, these businesses could save money, which could then be reinvested into growth and development initiatives. Using alternative currencies could lower these costs. This would not only benefit individual businesses, but also enhance the overall economic efficiency of the country. This could make Vietnamese exports more competitive. Another benefit is diversification. By not relying solely on the US dollar, Vietnam can spread its economic risks across a broader range of currencies. Vietnam holds a significant portion of its foreign reserves in US dollars. This concentration can be risky, especially in times of economic uncertainty or geopolitical tensions. Diversifying into other currencies would reduce its risk. By holding a mix of currencies, Vietnam can better protect itself against fluctuations in any single currency. It would also give Vietnam more options in managing its finances. With a diversified reserve, the country can respond more flexibly to global economic changes and opportunities. De-dollarization also opens doors for greater economic cooperation with other countries. By using a variety of currencies, Vietnam can engage in more bilateral and multilateral trade agreements. Vietnam can explore using local currencies in bilateral trade. This approach can simplify transactions and reduce dependency on the dollar, fostering stronger economic ties. This can strengthen ties with key partners like China and ASEAN members. By collaborating more closely with regional neighbors, Vietnam can build a more resilient and interconnected economy, better positioned to thrive in the evolving global landscape.